start off with ordinance number 369-2026. It's by council members Conwell and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the purchase of one or more requirement contracts of cremation services of descendant indigent residents for the Division of Health Department of the Public Health for a term of 2 years with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Public Health. It's been approved, it was approved March 24th, 2026 by the Health Department, also approved by the Finance Department, as well as the Director of Law. Director?
Through the chair, thank you. We do have one amendment because we noticed a typo on the legislation that says indignant should be changed to indigent. Indigent.
You change that?
Indigent.
Indigent.
Syllable, emphasis on the first syllable. Indigent.
Should we do all, through the chair, should we do all the amendments at the end? Because we have a couple others too.
Oh, we do.
There's a couple others
Oh,
in
that's
there.
right.
Yeah.
The council had some
we got?
amendments.
These
All
two
right,
here.
We'll move forward, then we'll just do it
Yep.
at the end.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, through the chair, thank you. Today, to my left is our Director of Vital Statistics, Andrea Casanari. And so she's here to answer any questions, but essentially this is our service that we offer the community for indigent residents for burial services free of charge through cremation. For the last 4 years, we had a contract with Biken. And then this one, if this is passed today, we'll go out for bid for the next contract.
How much this contract, the cost of this contract, how much is it?
Through the chair, the last few years, we've been just around $200,000. This year is not to exceed $250,000.
Do we ever run out of money? What is it per cremation? What has been the cost?
To the chair. We do, I think we have 1 year that we had to ask for additional money, but for the most part, we kind of stick right around what we're asking for. So we can't turn anybody away if they qualify for that. We have to have something in place for our indigent. So we can't let a body that's unclaimed or abandoned or indigent, no assets.
You know, my residents, a lot of times, they don't want to do cremation, and then they come to me. I've raised some funding because they're on you real hard. I said, man, I don't want no cremation, and you need to help me. You know, you guys you get that as well. And we try to figure out how to raise money sometime, and then I have to talk with the funeral homes and see what can we do for them, because they don't want the
We
cremation.
have quite a few funeral homes that will work with the people to.
Yeah, they will work with you. So has that ever happened to you?
I have not gotten any calls about burial services, no.
Yeah, I get them. Or if you have fatality, let's say doing the gun violence, whatever the case may be, and then I'll get blamed for it also with the gun violence. They'll say it's real bad. And then people will come back to me and go see the councilman, because if you can't think of anywhere to go, you call Chris Harsh. Remember that, everybody, call Chris Harsh. That's what you do.
I solve problems.
Yeah, he solved problems. So then they'll come to me. They'll reach out to me, and I'll try to figure it out. What to do, or how to help them to raise money at least twice a year. At least twice a year. And I'll reach out to the funeral home that really helped me out a lot is Strouders. I'll reach out to Strouders Funeral Home, and then they'll work with me.
Correct.
Can you hear me? You still can't hear me? Okay. Because I know I'm talking loud.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm talking loud. I'm speaking loud. So this is a good service. So when the process, I heard if you move the body, we don't cremate, or how does that go about?
So that depends. If the body has been taken to a funeral home, then that funeral home embalmed, then they no longer qualify for the program. I'm sorry.
That's for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, you can repeat it now. So what happens?
If a body has been taken to a funeral home that's not Biken Brothers, then, although I think it's actually Bitson Brothers, but anyways, nobody says that. If they've been cremated, not cremated, embalmed, then the funeral home, the city does not cover them after that.
So who is the Viking brothers, the brothers?
Well,
Funeral
Charles
home.
Sloan is the one who owns the funeral home now. Amy Bitson still works there, but that's who. It's Sloan Funeral Home when it's the general public. For the purposes, they keep it separate. For the purposes of our contract, it's Biken Brothers. So.
I like that last name, Brothers.
And through the chair, this legislation would authorize us to go to bid. So we'll see who. I don't imagine there are a lot of vendors who
No.
apply, but
No.
we'll make sure we do the work to get a
Right.
good variety, diversity of vendors to apply.
And they have had it for how long? The
They've
contract?
They've had it for, sorry to the chair, they've had it probably 12 years at least. Yeah, they've had it quite a while.
Yeah, I've had issues, not with them, just with even, because, I've been around since 2001. Not long as Mike Polensik, but I've been around half his years on Cleveland City Council, really just half. And I've had issues when the funeral home has already started to work and they're not qualified. And then they put it on me, not the funeral home, but the indigent people. They'll say, Councilman, we need you to help us with this, help us raise some money. And then I'll talk with some people. It's stressful because you have a lot of other issues that you need to deal with in your ward. And you care. You really, truly care. Because you care about all of your residents. But, you have people coming to you for, even the schools, reach out to you for prom or they want to take the children to the African American History Museum, or they can't pay for their for whatever, and then you have to figure out how to raise money for this here because the funeral home has already started working on it, and other needs just in your ward. And if you don't, when they're at the Thursday meetings, then next thing you know, you hear a whole lot of disappointed people in you, and they'll come to you. That councilman is the first line that they go to for anything. Even director, if you mess up on something, they blame us. Isn't that right? We get the blame. We it's the blame. The blame fall on us. So I know since 2001. Like, you saw what happened with the East Side Market. Yeah. I told you earlier, who got the blame? I did. The blame came straight toward me because you're the one they know and they see. And even if you tell them where the blame lies, they blame you. So even with this, if this fall apart, you're the one to get the blame and you get beat up for it. But anyway, the process, when we pass this director, or if it's passed or whatever, give us a process and so that we could put it in our newsletters or whatever, or we have it so that if someone call us, we know the process so we could tell them, if you go to the funeral home and they start work on the body, then you don't qualify. So I need that.
To the chair, so for the first, regarding the embalming, if they do the light embalming, which is just the preservation, it's not the full thing, that still is fine for the indigent program. So, and I will tell you that most of the funeral homes, we've put the word out that most of them talk to the family and find out that they have no money anyways ahead of time. But then Biken has gone to different funeral homes to pick up bodies that have already been shipped there, but then the family didn't have the money. So Biken does go to those kind of places. But how we do the program is somebody from the family, next of kin, needs to give us a call. And we will go through our application process, which is very simple. We try to be very, what's the word, we're trying to be kind to the family.
Right.
We appreciate that at this time things are rough. So we take our application, we get as much as we can off of that, we make sure the person qualifies. We then send over to Biken Brothers, who will then do some further investigation. They make sure there's no GoFundMe page out there, that there's no
Or they have a GoFundMe
prepaid-
page?
Not a
No,
ton, because
sometimes they do.
that money can be used to pay for then they don't qualify for the indigent. If they have, that's an asset. So they'll check to see if they have a prepaid funeral, if they were a veteran, victims of crime, because there's different funding for victims of crime. So they'll check all that stuff. If they find that there's nothing that qualify, that they fall under, then they get processed under the indigent program. So then they will sign off on that, send it back to me to sign off on, and then they'll go pick up the body. In the cases of abandonment, those are usually at the ME's office, and they have their own process. And there's some funeral homes that do that, and hospitals that will handle. All of them have their own process for declaring a person abandoned. Once they've met that criteria, then either the administrator of the hospital or the ME's office will send us a form. And that's a little bit different. That's abandonment, so it is what it is. You have to do something for them. If nobody's come to claim the body, whether the person had assets or not, there's nothing we can do. So,
Yeah, you could give me the process. Give me everything you just said. Do you have a guideline that we can look at?
not really, because generally the family just has to call our office. They have to call. That's really the start of the whole thing, and then we'll walk them through everything after that. We don't put the form online.
No, don't put it online. No.
Same thing, we don't really put the criteria. I think on the website it just says if you believe you may call, if you believe you qualify, just give us a call. And then we'll walk them through that. And then we'll walk them through the next steps of the process, because really, once we hand it over to Bike and Brothers, they will deal with the family, and they really are very good with working with the families and getting everything situated. And the family, the city allows, if the family wants the ashes, they can take the ashes. They don't have to go to Potter's Field if the family, so we're good about that. Actually, that saves an expense for us, I suppose. But, so that's really, there's really not much to the program after that. The family can come, immediate family can come for a viewing. It's very short. It's basically an identification viewing. It's less than half an hour. Can only be the immediate family. They can stay for the cremation if they would like to.
Ooh,
That's about it. It's really pretty cut and dry.
any questions?
I have one.
All right, Chris. And then we'll yield to you, Shaw.
Through the chair, how many people are we talking about per year? Dozens, hundreds, 5?
I would say the average is about 300 a year.
300 a year.
300 a
Thank you.
year.
We take about 400 applications. They don't qualify for one reason.
So what's
or
the
another.
average cost? If we're looking at a quarter of a million, you're looking at 250,000. You take 300 per year. You can break it down, but what is basically average about?
To the chair, the cost right now is
$800?
$895, $900.
Yeah,
125 if it's a baby.
125 is okay, baby. Shaw, Councilman.
Good morning. My apologies to the committee and to our presenters for being a little tardy. I hopefully didn't miss this in the first portion, but I just wanted to understand if I heard right, we're going to be going to bid for this. Is that correct?
Correct.
And in that scoring criteria, do we have any things for using like green methods for cremation services?
The state of Ohio currently doesn't have any that are allowable.
Like we cannot ask for that or use that as a rubric, or that's just not allowed by?
Are you talking about like where they liquefy sort of thing? Yeah, the state of Ohio still has not approved any of those for
I see.
use. We're
Was-
still just at cremation or burial,
Okay.
or scattering ashes, I suppose, too.
Got it. Wasn't aware of that. And what about like using renewables for is that a thing? I don't
Sorry,
know.
what was that?
Like using renewables for the cremation itself?
Like using solar power, wind power, something, other renewable source of energy to
Yeah.
power the incinerator.
If the different funeral homes have that available, but I don't believe Bike and Brothers does. Theirs is just a standard
Sounds good.
crematory, and I
No
don't
worries.
know if there's any that are around here that are solar powered or anything
Repeat
like
that
that.
question again.
I was just wondering if there's any rubric advantage for having like renewables powering the cremation. I guess I'm not aware if that's. I presumed it was something that was available, but I believe you if that's not something that's really
Not that
readily available. No worries. Thank you.
Is it anywhere else do you know of it being anywhere else? Did you see it somewhere else? Did you hear about it anywhere else?
Read about it, but I don't know any local places, so
I don't know of any either.
my understanding is I think cremation still, I think better for the environment than a traditional burial. So I think that for me
Right.
is. I was
Additionally-
just curious.
For Potter's Field, it takes up less room.
I see. No. Thank you.
All right. Yes, Councilwoman. Yes.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, I just want to clarify, is burial an option, or are you burying the ashes in Potter's Field?
To the chair, burial is not part of our program.
Okay, so when you refer to Potter's Field, is that?
The ashes.
The ashes. Okay, thank you.
And the Biken Brothers holds the ashes for at least a year to see if anybody is going to come to claim them. So we do wait a long time before we bury, and then they bury 12, I think it's 12 or 10 at a time on a gravestone.
And where is, through the chair, where's the location of Potter's Field?
I was going to that.
Highland Park Cemetery.
Okay, thank you.
It's there?
I know.
Oh, I didn't know, man. Highland Park. Yes, Councilman.
So through the chair, I'll wrap it up then. I will say so. I did have the great privilege of being at the Potter's Field for a lot of my high school experience. Ignatius sends kids down to the Potter's Field to be pallbearers for people who have no pallbearers and nobody in their
That's nice.
lives.
That's
It's the
good.
St. Joseph of Arimathea Society. He was in the Bible, the person who was burying Jesus. It's a wonderful program. So if you ever want to go down to the Potter's Field, there's a bunch of boys in khaki pants who would love to take you because they go every week.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't know that.
You know what? I'm going to visit Potter's Field because I was going to ask that question, Councilwoman, because I was just nodding my head like I know, but I don't know. And I'm like, where's the location? So it's good for me to know. It's always good to have an up-close view. Yeah, so I'll visit. Any other questions before I yield to you, Chairman?
I don't know.
Actually, sit in the seat.
I like the seat.
It's cool beans.
I'm not cool beans enough.
Here for the votes.
Yeah. Oh, I was.
I want to read in the amendments
Pretty
to
much
the
saying the
proposed amendments. What should I say first?
You said to fix the typo as well. So you move.
So we're going to read 3 amendments in. First will be a proposed amendment to replace all uses of the term indignant with the term indigent.
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 I can say these words normally. It is in my head now. The Second Amendment, shall I read it now? It's in Section 2, after shall, insert not exceed $250,000 and shall. In Section 2, strike the proper appropriation accounts and insert 01-001-5005-6381. And then at the end of Section 3, insert the Director of Public Health shall provide written notice to the Clerk of Council whenever any purchase is made through the cooperative process, which notice shall include the details of such cooperative purchases.
That's good.
Those are our 3 amendments.
You're here.
So, 3%.
I second.
You take the vote.
Thank you. All right, discussion. Closing the discussion. So
Close the
to a
discussion.
vote. All in favor? Aye.
No.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Nes-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
With that amendment, now do we have to vote on the legislation itself?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. With that, this is passed. Thank you for your time.
Batter up. You don't.
Thank you.
So Director, you know where the field is at, right? You don't know either. Write it down where it's located, and then I'll. Austin. Yeah.
20 years ago.
So you went there when you were 8 years old?
I just look good, man. Healthy living.
So. You know know what I want to do and move it right along real quick? I want to do the epilepsy. I want to do that. I'm just waiting. And that, because of food insecurity, I want to talk with you a great deal about that food insecurity.
My wife is on this kick about getting wrapped in mushrooms. I've seen those. They have like a sack, they wrap you in it and throw you in the ground, and there's no coffin.
Oh my God, man.
Funny part is
You know what,
you have no set.
Austin, I was so busy picking with you, Councilman. I signed in the wrong spot.
You're eager.
I know, I was picking with you. Remember I said, you said 10 years ago, I said, when did you go, when you were 8?
Yeah, I will.
And the next thing you know, I was signing, so.
You gotta give me my shit first.
Yeah, you know, you got to come down here. You have to sit right here. I want to help their organization. No, I want to do epilepsy because the food one, we're going to be here for a while. Right, we'll be here for dealing with food insecurity, epilepsy, 20 minutes, half an hour max. Then we roll. So, hey, thanks. Raven, you worked for what council member? You worked for, I thought he would, well, and you were, what were you, his administrative assistant and what? Intern? And so what made you come up with, and this is a good cause for the epilepsy, and I'm going to help you with it anyway, because I used to do an event for someone who was doing epilepsy. They were raising money for it. And so what made you come up with epilepsy?
Well, I was born with epilepsy, so this is something that's my passion, something that gives me drive. Also bringing safety and awareness.
Your mic is off. Your mic is off. So yeah, go
Press
back.
the button
Press the
right
button in
here
the middle.
until
Yeah.
it turns green. You got it.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. Yes, what made me come up with epilepsy is something I was born with. It's something that drives me, that keeps me going. Also to bring safety and awareness to the community. This is also something that I was called to do by the Lord, and I just feel like it's something that is very a need. A lot of people overlook epilepsy and don't realize like how expensive it is as far as like the medication and just being educated on it. It can definitely be a life-changing, not even knowing, what to do to step in, to have somebody, to have a seizure. What does that intake? So that's why we came up with like seizure first aid to also just bring awareness and safety to the community and letting people know how important this is, because it is a life or death situation. And you want to kind of be prepared if something does happen. You might not be epileptic, but you might have somebody in your family that you take care of. You might work for, a home health aid agency, and somebody might be, epileptic or might fall. It's different types of seizures, jerking, we have list of 5 different kind of seizures. I know tonic-clonic is really, popular for our seizures. So it's called a tonic-clonic seizure. It's also, yeah, we were talking about the different 5 seizures, but just knowing, just being educated on, seizures itself, and also being aware of, the environment that you're in, as far as, a lot of people might not want to say they're epileptic, and you might not know. So what do you do if somebody does have a seizure? How can you step in to help that person in that life or death situation?
There's classes you could take up or
So yes, we
tell you.
Yes, far as my organization, yes. So we'll be getting to that in the presentation about seizure first aid and CPR that we'll be offering to, organizations, communities, and just to be educated on it. And so that is something that we are doing.
And the other young lady that's
This
with
is,
you.
so I'm going to start the presentation. My name is Raven Walker. My nonprofit is called Living for Epilepsy. It is a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to African American minorities that is facing epilepsy. This is something that also drives me, something I'm passionate about, and that I feel that is very important, not only for myself, but for others, the community, because it's definitely, a lot of people in the world that's just passed away from epilepsy that don't have somebody to intervene or to prevent something in case of an accidental emergency. So we'll be here with you guys to talk about the Resilient Bracelet Project and the Seizure First Aid. Monique Chavis is my program manager, and we'll get into the presentation.
Are you guys based out of anywhere? You have somewhere that you.
I'm based out of my home right
out
now.
of your house. And how many board members do you have?
I have 3 board members.
Okay, okay. I used to do, and I'll yield, well, I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves from Councilwoman Nikki
Hi.
Hudson. I already said her name. I tried not to say her name. I tried not to say her name, but then you said.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for being here. I'm the new Ward 11 Councilwoman Nikki Hudson.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
New council, Ward 7, Austin Davis.
Okay.
Chris Harsh, Ward 4. Okay.
Thank you.
And I'm Councilmember Kevin Conwell. You know, I used to, have I always bring my band in, and we used to play for this white ball dealing with epilepsy, and they had their event once a year. It's this church, I'm looking at it right now in my mind, and on Mayfield Road. It's right around the holidays, and you might be too young to remember that. It was 15 years ago, and we used to always play every year for free. We would go in, the band play, and then we leave. And so instead of giving us $1,200 or $1,500 to the band, we would take the proceeds and just donate it
To the-
right, to the mission dealing with epilepsy. And then I don't know what happened to them. I forgot the name of the I know it deal with epilepsy. You ever heard of that organization?
Epilepsy Association?
That might be them. And it was a white ball. You heard it?
I think that's association.
Yeah, they dressed in white. Are they still doing that?
I don't think so. They're doing like the epilepsy walk run. I think they do like a marathon. They've been doing that every year.
I'll help you out, whatever you want to do. You want to do the walk around Wade Oval, if you want to do that.
Okay.
If you need the band to come to play free of charge, instead of paying us, we'll do that. And, whatever you need, I have to give back. One thing about leadership, you have to get immersed in it, and you have to give back to help. So we will come, and we come on time. We'll play the band, and then we leave, and that way you don't have to, that cost,
Yeah.
that $1,500 or $2,000 will go straight to your mission.
Okay.
And then sometime if I have the funding, I would even buy a table. So I'll help you out. It's no problem. I just don't want to listen and not help.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So you got that.
Okay. Yeah. So.
All right. We'll listen.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. I am Monique Chavis. Can we get the next slide, please? Oh, right here. Okay.
Can we get those? What you have?
So I am Monique Chavis. I am the project manager for Living for Epilepsy. And I'm passionate about it as well. I was Raven's 5th, 8th, and 9th grade teacher at Paul Revere doing media arts. And I actually saw Raven having a seizure in class. Nobody knew what to do. No teachers was aware, even the students. It was really chaotic.
Were you a teacher?
Yes, I teach
Yeah.
non-epileptic. I was her teacher.
Oh, no. Yep, this is like that.
Yeah, so her 5th, 8th, and 9th grade teacher, and she just became my child from there. So I'm passionate about this as well, having a child who actually dealt with epilepsy herself. So our mission is to empower individuals living with epilepsy through awareness, education, and support, especially in African American community. Our vision is to transform the landscape of epilepsy care by replacing stigma with strength, ensuring every African American living with seizures is empowered, educated, and equipped with the tool to lead in life without limits. Click it. What is epilepsy? Epilepsy is chronic, non-communicable disease of the brain that is characterized by recurrent, unprovoked seizures. These seizures are caused by sudden, excessive electrical discharges in a group of brain cells. And these are 5 different ways that you can know it's different forms of epilepsy. Everybody just thinks it's just this one big thing, or they say grandma seizures. But there's actually tonic-clonic seizures, absent seizures, focal awareness seizures, focal impaired awareness seizures, and myoclonic seizures. So the first one is loss of consciousness with body stiffness and jerking movements. Absent seizures, brief staring spells, and loss of awareness. Focal aware seizures, a person is awake but experiences unusual sensations or movements. And all of these is like, it's the point, we want to point out each different phase so that when they're happening, they're not all the same. So they literally can be staring and looking at you like this, and you just think that they're just in a daze or just brain fog, but it's actually a seizure. Or they may be jerking, and sometimes we don't have it on here, but it's also, I dealt with non-epileptic seizures, which comes from overworking, neglecting physical care, just working, and the body shuts down. So the next one is focal impaired awareness seizures, which is confusion with expective behaviors, repetitive behaviors. Sorry, y'all don't have my glasses.
You okay, school teacher?
And lack of awareness. Myoclonic seizures, sudden brief jerking movements of muscles. So they may not have nothing but just the body is jerking. It may be a leg, it may be an arm, it just may be chest jerks, and you don't know what's going on. They maybe can talk. Sometimes it looks like a stroke or a heart attack, where the face may seem like it's drooping, or the mouth do some twitching, or they may be blurred speech. So these 5 were just awareness of some of the different signs. So if you see these things happening, more than likely it's a part of epilepsy. Because even with first aid, they throw a little piece of epilepsy in there, but it doesn't really give you a description of what epilepsy really looks like and what it is. So to bring the awareness of this is what epilepsy look like in the different forms. Next slide. Yes, so our organization updates. We developed seizure first aid brochures in the Resilient Bracelet Project, which is the handout that I gave you all. Also, the board recommended we should add CPR training as a community safety need. 70 CPR training equipment was donated from Lorain County Community College. We also have partnered with the Cleveland EMS. We also are seeking funding to provide essential training and educational resources. Funding will be used to purchase automatic internal defibrillator, AED training devices, CPR training equipment, develop and manufacture durable epilepsy first aid posters for schools and community organizations. The Resilient Bracelet Project I did with Case Western Reserve University. We did the Resilient Bracelet Project there. It's basically a hands-on workshop to build resilience and foster a positive mindset, as well as a unique opportunity to explore power of social emotional wellness, learning, creative expressions, and a community service. The interaction session will start with a fun icebreaker to get to know one another and create a welcoming atmosphere. From there, we'll dive into an engaging podcast discussion about what it means to be resilient. We use the acronym RESILIENT for our guide, and it's basically like a positive affirmation. We want to definitely be involved for our mental health and social and emotional wellness, because that's popular now, and we want to bring that to not only just students, we want to bring that as well to the community. So that is something that we have did with Case Western Reserve. The students were very engaged in the session, and they wanted me to come back again. It was a great opportunity for me to go in there, and I worked with about 10 to 15 African American students, and it was a really great session that we did with them, and it turned out really nice. Seizure First Aid, CPR, this is the brochure that I passed out earlier. It's basically giving a guide on seizure first aid and what to do to step in if someone is having a seizure. So we teach both. Seizure first aid plus CPR completes emergencies response, protect during a seizure, respond to cardiac emergencies, build confidence, and save lives. Our slogan is be ready, be confident, save lives. Seizure first aid protects from injury, turn on side, stay until alert. CPR, if not breathing, call 911 and start chest compressions. Call to action, life-saving skills should be known by everyone. be confident, respond quickly, and save lives. And this also, like, inside of it also gives like a guide, like the different type of seizure. If somebody's like in a wheelchair, what to do. You know, a lot of people also don't know what to do if somebody does have a wheelchair, if they fall while they're in their wheelchair. So it's just giving a guide. We wanted to make it very kind of kid friendly, so even like a kid can understand it as well. And then the third page, it kind of gives like if somebody was actually having a seizure, like time in it, 2 minutes. You know, also you want to stay calm, check if they have like a medical ID bracelet or anything, and just explain to others like this person is having a seizure, and just also just staying calm. And so this is what we had, the board had recommended. And we're going to our next slide. So thank you all for your time and your attention today. I pray that you guys all get involved to empower individuals living with epilepsy through awareness, education, and support, especially in the African American community. And we'll now open it up to question and answer.
That was good. So, when is your next workshop or event, or what's going on with that?
So we have an event coming up June 12th that we'll be doing seizure first aid for M. Frazion Therapy. They invited us to be at an event with them to come out and talk about seizure first aid. So we'll be doing an event there as well. And then we have another event later in the fall, August 22nd, that we'll be doing CPR training.
And you doing the CPR training where?
We'll be doing it, so we get calls, you know, asking us, can you come do CPR training? So we'll do it like if an organization calls us and they have like the space, we'll either do it there or we could coordinate with Cleveland EMS and they have a space we can use as well.
You don't have a space of your own to do it?
I don't have a space of my own, but I do have other organizations, like I know Zelma George don't mind us doing something there. Other organizations wouldn't mind us using the space for free if we wanted to have people get CPR trained. And then I also, I am a student at Tri-C, and I am the vice president of student government, and so I also can use space at Tri-C as well. So,
Yeah, I'll show you a space in my ward as well. We have University Hospital. They have a community center in Glenville
okay,
on Church Hill, and it's a nice, beautiful space with a kitchen, and it's nice. A lot of people use it, and it's great parking. Parking is fantastic. Just
Okay.
there, and it's right across from Glen Village and Fisher House. That's over there, and we use the community room.
Okay.
And I'm quite sure I can get that for you. They never ever told me no. They just
Okay.
need to know
the date.
in advance.
Okay.
Right, the date.
Yeah, because we are the team, like we are building a team. We're all certified in stop the bleed, CPR, first aid, communicable disease, and all of that. And the goal is that all of our staff become instructors as well, so that we can actually house these ourselves, because we're going a step beyond stop the bleed and regular CPR. We're going beyond so it can be epilepsy CPR together and combined.
And I do want to mention about the seizure first aid. There's nobody out there doing seizure first aid training. You'll see people do CPR, but they're not doing seizure first aid training. And we're trying to be like the first to do CPR training itself because for epilepsy, because people are not educated on it. And another thing I want to bring up is I did research, and seizure first aid and CPR is actually mandated by the state and the federal. It's also mandated to have a seizure action plan. And me just like discussing with organizations, a lot of organizations are not in compliance with the mandated by the state and the federal, and that's another thing. Just being educated on like the different laws and different things when it comes to epilepsy.
You know what, Francis, can I see you real quick? She is good. She was you a while back. I mean, an activist before she became working for the city of Cleveland.
Okay.
So what Francis reaches out to help anybody, we might need to help you. She's over minority health right now.
Okay.
And what you over now? You keep moving. So who's doing minority health? Do I know Rafiq Ali? See, we brought Commission on Minority Health to the city of Cleveland from down in Columbus. I love that. That was my baby. It's one of my babies. I forget about it every now and then. And when Francis we've been friends for a long time, longer than this guy been around. And This guy been around working in the community. She's actually a community activist in the community. So they got a lovely, beautiful person, but you still can introduce them to Ali, and that will help you out. And I know we're doing Minority Health Month right now in April. And do we have a list of events? Are we going to do a list of events or what?
list of events has gone out, and so if you don't have it, we'll make sure.
All right, all right, all right.
We do have our equipment for us. Like if we want a table event, we do have all of that as well.
Okay, and like stuff you reached out to me for, it would make it easier to go through Department of Health with Francis and Dave Margolius. They can help you out, and by them helping you out, that will build up your stature as well. You know, and she's good. She know how to do all those things. And
Okay.
we go back. We were young like you way back then where I was. We were both, you know, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but she's good. And I want you to
Okay.
get her card. I want you to work with her. But I'll still take your phone calls, and I'll introduce you to the staff in the back for some help. Because I
Okay.
do want to help,
Okay.
you know, and where you can meet her.
Okay.
Any questions? Epilepsy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to go. So thank you, Councilman Conwell. Thank you for
Councilwoman
your
Hudson.
wonderful presentation today. And for this is a beautiful brochure. So
Thank you.
you know, nice job.
Thank you.
Do you, through the chair, do you go to schools to present this information to
Yes.
students and teachers?
Yes.
And do you, is
School
it
teacher.
schools reach out to you and then request?
So I am in contact with CMSD, Integrated Health, Bernadette Wiggins. I did present it with her, and then I reached out to the principals and different things like that. And so I'm just waiting on a response back because the principals are the ones that have the decision, rather if I go in there and do any kind of business as far as teaching the class and things. But we have gotten a lot of calls from a lot of organizations that are interested in our CPR and first aid and a whole bunch of, I have, you know, like Tri-C. I'm actually trying to get it actually in Tri-C as a non-credit course to take because there are epileptic students that are on campus that have had seizures and staff have not know how to step in to be able to
Right.
help with a seizure.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is a need. At my daughter's high school, you know, a young woman had a seizure during an assembly, and you know, and like you said, most of the staff weren't aware of what to do. And then also what you said about, you know, the seizure action plan. There are multiple benefits to having you all come out to schools and educate the students and the teachers and the administrators on what the correct action is.
Yeah.
And also, you know, I mentioned my daughter. She's a lifeguard, and so she's taken, you know, first aid, CPR, and as have I. And you're right, it is just a very short portion of the course. So I think everyone would benefit from having a, you know, more extensive training around what to do when someone's having seizures. So
Yes.
thank you all for the work that you do.
Thank you.
When did you reach out to the schools?
I reached out to them like back in January.
Yeah.
Back in January of this year.
Have anyone returned your phone calls?
They haven't. I think nobody from the schools have returned my phone calls, but Ms. Wiggins, the director, she has returned my phone calls.
Okay.
Because for some reason, when I email the principals, my email keep bouncing back. So I have to actually go up to the school to talk to the principals. So I kind of have to like follow up with them, but it's kind of hard because I have to like actually go up there physically. So
Yes,
Yeah,
Councilman.
through the chair, and I do apologize. Did you say Dunlap Elementary?
Say-
Did you say which school was not returning your emails? Was it
So
Dunlap?
the CMSD umbrella, and so what I was doing was going to the CMSD in the ward that I'm in. I'm in Ward 3, so in Councilwoman Deborah Gray. So I went to those those schools, and I haven't heard anything back from those specific schools.
I'm through the chair. I apologize. There's a Dunlap Elementary in my ward, and I was going to make sure you get a response. But
Oh yeah, I would love to reach out.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because the plan is for it to go worldwide. Like, this needs to be a national thing. The awareness, not just in schools and in the community, but in businesses. because the shopping center, if this happens and occurs, who's aware? At least the staff should be aware. Like, we noticed that there's not many AEDs in businesses. No, they don't have it. So worst case scenario, you lose a life because nobody was able to respond and accordingly because they didn't have the information.
And we also did partner with the St. Luke Foundation as well.
That's good. That's good. I'll introduce you to. I plan to bring you guys down. You're going to work with Imani.
Okay.
And then I'll give you a resolution on the council floor. I'll introduce you to Matthew Cole. He's the head of our human resources in the city of Cleveland.
Okay.
I'm quite sure we have some employees in the city of Cleveland, and that will give you a shot in the arm right there.
Okay.
And I'll introduce you to him. We'll bring you guys down. You'll talk with Imani, and she'll tell you when to come down.
Okay.
Maybe next week or the week after that, or Monday night, and I'll bring him up.
Okay.
All right, and they'll
Yeah.
talk. Because you have
That's
to think
fine.
about everyone. You have to think about the whole.
Yeah. Yeah, we do want to do some fundraising events as well, because even like the equipment itself is like very expensive. Just for like, I think it's for like 4 baby mannequins, it's like $1,500. Yeah. And so I have to make sure when I'm doing like programming and things, I have to make sure I have enough for everybody. So if I have a huge class, I can be able to accommodate those many people. So,
Okay, talk with your board. I can do anything I can do to help. Chris, do you have any questions, Harsh? Or Councilman Shaw?
okay.
All right. With that, I'm going to. I already introduced you to Tony already, didn't I? All right. And then you have the great over here. We'll get this done, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you guys for your time. Thank you.
Are you
Thank
going to
you.
stay at the table
Thank
for food, for the food piece? All right, you just sit right there. All right, Francis.
Thank you.
I gave you Imani's phone number, right? Let me write it down. I don't want to say it at the table. I'll write it down and give it to you. You young people do like this with the phone. They do that, Francis.
I didn't want to have my
They do
phone
good.
with me, so.
216. All right. She'll help you out with the
And that's my
resolution.
contact information, our contact information, if you guys want to email or check our website out, and it's my phone number, you're welcome to.
We want to help you. You're young. You got to help young people, and you're giving back, and you're helping. You're not just saying, just help me out with epilepsy. You're trying to get resources and help other people, and that's what Christ will want you to do anyway, is to give back and help. So, I like that. And stay in touch with Imani, and she'll tell you where I'm at all the time.
Okay.
And then that way we can move forward.
Okay.
All right. And let me ask one more question. In CMSD school, do we have systems in place? And who, if there's a seizure, epilepsy?
It's not.
We look everywhere. There's
Nothing.
in place. I remember even working at Paul Revere. It wasn't just her that I noticed with a seizure. I knew it was my daughter. Miss Hood was having seizures. We would have, because I worked with her in the communities, and she would just be staring and having seizures. Nobody knew. Edward Banks, he had an episode not many months ago doing a program with CMSD schools. Nobody knew what to do. He fell out on the floor. Thank God his wife was there, or it could have been a matter of losing.
Oh, man.
Yes.
So nobody's aware of what to do.
And it's
No,
nothing.
my mic is on. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Gotta press it. Yeah, it's nothing in CMSD. I've talked to the director. It's nothing. They don't have no support. That's why the director is like, we need your services in all our schools, because it's nothing. They don't have nothing, and they've had some situations where a student has had, and the parent was
Yeah.
very upset, because they could have lost their child. So yeah.
Since we know, one thing about leadership, since we know, I'll talk with Leo about it. Leo, that's the guy that talks with us. Yeah. And he'll push it in, and they'll return your phone call.
Okay.
Every
Do
time.
you guys have contacts to Dr. Warren G. Morgan? Okay, I would love to talk with him.
Yeah, I talk with him at least every other week.
Okay.
He and I talk. Yeah,
Okay.
we talk every other week. Leo is his contact.
Leo,
He and
okay.
I mainly talk.
Okay.
But he's going to want you to go through Leo.
Leo, okay.
Right, and then Leo will say that we recommended
Okay.
council to talk with you. And Dr. Morgan is a good guy. He'll come out what you're doing. But he's busy right now
No.
dealing with the schools and the consolidations and the whole 9 yards. I mean, it'll fit into his paradigm, but he's busy with that right now. But Leo will get right in front of him. All right?
Okay.
So I'll make the phone call. I'll talk with him. As a matter of fact, when you guys receive your resolution, Leo probably will be in the audience because he comes down.
When was that as far as the resolution?
Not this Monday. It might be next Monday or the Monday after that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just follow up.
I can't do the 26th, so you'll be chairing on the 26th, right? It's my 41st wedding anniversary.
Aw,
So I gotta be
congratulations.
there. You know, Yvonne and I, we figure out what we're going to, you know, so I have to do that. You know, that's important. Marriage is important, and you got to keep that together with the wife and I. So Imani will talk with you. I'll talk with Leo, and you'll probably get a phone call this week.
Okay.
All right. Now, your phone, is it filled up? Sometimes people say people don't return their phone calls.
My phone's not filled up.
The voicemail is full.
It's not full.
Not full?
It's not full.
I know when I return your calls, it's not full. Mine can be full, but yours is not full.
Right.
Right. So Frances will deal with you. She'll help you out. She's good.
Okay.
She's really, really good.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all
Thank
for your
you all.
time. Thank you all.
We'll talk.
Thank
All right?
you.
So the next one we're bringing up, we're dealing with, we got epilepsy, discussing food insecurity. I'm going to talk with them real quick. You got it.
Thank you for joining us.
Are we
You want?
moving forward with food while he's?
Yep. Just a presentation. Want to give us some introductions, and then we'll turn it over to you.
Okay. I'm just here for the ride.
I just work here.
Good morning. Thank you all for having me today to talk about the work that I do in the Department of Public Health and the Division of Health. My name is Zainab Pixler. I'm the local food systems strategies coordinator. Today we'll be talking about the food systems work happening at the City of Cleveland. To start, just a little bit of background, I'd like to introduce myself a little bit. I have a supply chain degree with a food studies minor. I'm a Cleveland transplant of 8 years. I love calling Cleveland home. My whole career has been in food systems development. It started in food service, and after graduating college, I had the pleasure of working at the Greater Cleveland Food Bank, the Center for Good Food Purchasing, and now doing food policy work for the City of Cleveland. Outside of work, I'm an animal advocate and a travel enthusiast. I know Councilwoman Hudson as a City of Cleveland kennel adopter, and I am an active volunteer at the kennel, and I travel the world any chance that I get. When I first started in this role almost 3 years ago, I conducted a listening tour. Out of that listening tour, I produced a report that synthesized everything that I heard from food systems advocates, from urban agriculturalists, from food business owners, from nonprofit operators into 7 key insights. Hearing that land and water access was a priority for urban agriculture. Transparency in city processes was absolutely needed for folks to be able to interact with our policies and programs. There was a huge potential with institutional food procurement in the area. We need alternative food retail models like farmers markets, food cooperatives, to be able to support food access for our neighbors. Workforce development in the food sector needs some work. And food rescue and composting are both opportunities to create a environmentally sustainable food system. And last but not least, coalition building, definitely needed in the area to build trust, to build companionship, to build the force behind food systems and food policy development. Those 7 pillars have been guiding my work, and my major projects include working with the city's land bank to offer the sale of land for urban agriculture. Currently, the city's land bank does not sell land for urban agriculture, which poses a huge food sovereignty issue. Folks invest time, sweat, blood, tears, money into their land, and not having ownership of their land poses some serious issues. In the food retail sector, working with Central Kinsman Wellness Collective in Central and Kinsman to develop a cooperatively owned farm stop, and then working with farmers markets to get the word out about their operations, and including farmers markets, but also farm stands, fresh stops, fresh produce markets. I created this guide. There's a little snippet up here, a Notion guide to share on the city's website to share information about what markets are available for residents to patron. In the workforce development realm, working on cultivating Cleveland's next generation, which is a effort to introduce young people to urban agriculture and food access work. And in that, I had the pleasure of sitting at this table talking about the Food Access Navigator program, which is working with young people to educate their peers, educate their family members, their community about the changes in the SNAP program. Another major project is the Summer Sprout Community Gardening Program. It's Cleveland's community gardening program, previously funded by the Community Development Block Grant dollars, going through the Department of Community Development. Thanks to your leadership and the leadership of the mayor's office, we are now working to shift the funding from Community Development Block Grant dollars to general fund, which will open up a whole lot of pathways for the program. We work with the Ohio State University Extension to administer the program, and due to management capacity from both the city and OSU Extension side, and because of the difficulties with the funding source, the program has slipped in the last couple of years. And so with my management, I'm really hoping to reinvigorate the program, reimagine the program with this increased investment from the general fund, really reinvigorate the program into a more thriving community gardening program. Another major project of mine is the new East Side Market. As we know, the lease with Neon ended at the end of March. And so I worked with the Hunger Network to rescue all of the perishable product in the building to make sure that it did not go to waste and that it fed the neighbors in the Glenville area. I've also been working on the request for qualified contractors with input from council and community to find a new operator or operators for the space, because the space not only has the food retail space, there's a demonstration kitchen, there's a small commercial kitchen, and there's clinic space in there as well. And working with community partners to activate the space in the meantime so that it doesn't sit vacant and empty between operators. Thank you. So just a little plug. I do have a newsletter, a monthly newsletter called Farm to Inbox, where I share work. Thank you. Where I share updates from my office, where I share work that's happening in other cities across the country. I share a little recipe in there as well. So it's an opportunity for folks to stay connected to my work, to really hear about what's going on in the food system, not only in Cleveland, but across the country and sometimes across the world. Now we'll take any questions.
Thank you. Coordinator Pixlar, Ms. Pixlar?
Sure.
Tell me what you'd like.
Zainab is fine too.
Thanks, Zainab.
Yes.
This is fantastic. Thank you for joining us here today. I'll turn to my colleagues in just a second, but would love to hear more about, to the extent that you know, what programs or incentives the city has for new grocery stores. Is there a funding stream available? How do we support that kind of infrastructure in our community?
Yeah, so I'm happy to share some information about that. There is currently the Gardening for Greenbacks grant program, which traditionally serves for-profit urban farms, but has been used to support food retailers in sourcing local product. And I know the Department of Development does also have grant programs to support purchasing equipment for food retailers and has been used in that fashion, but no other programs at this time.
Okay, that makes sense. You know, Cleveland is lucky to have a number of urban farms. It's, you know, in my community, our community, there's a Refugee Response has their urban farm behind Riverview, excuse me. There's Riddall as well. are other cities as far ahead in the urban farming experience? Are we behind in urban farming? It feels like we're ahead, but your context would be very helpful.
That's a great question. So Cleveland has historically been a really progressive urban agriculture supportive city with legislation that was passed at the because of the leadership of the Cleveland Cuyahoga Food Policy Coalition and in partnership with the health department. We do have quite a few policies that are supportive of urban agriculture. However, there are some cities that do, for example, offer land for sale for urban agriculture. There are other cities. We do have a pretty progressive hydrant access process for urban agriculture. There are some cities that have more transparent processes, more streamlined processes around land and water access. So I would say we're up there, but there are other cities that are innovating more recently.
That's interesting. And so there's other cities provide more streamlined access to city resources to provide for urban agriculture.
Comparatively, yes.
Okay. Is that something that we in council could help on? Are there new laws or regulations we should be passing to facilitate that sort of streamlining?
Always.
The answer is always yes, but the answer is always what?
Exactly. Yes. So as I mentioned, we're currently working with the city's land bank to amend policy to support the sale of land for urban agriculture. There's an opportunity with the water department to work on policy there. So yes.
Last thing I'll ask then is, it is news to me the city does not sell its land bank lots for urban agriculture. Is that
Historically, yes.
historically?
Yeah.
It sounds like as a matter of policy. Is that across? Does urban agriculture in that context include community gardens as well?
Yes.
Okay, so the community gardens that are on land bank lots are operating in a sort of
Under leases.
under leases. Okay, so
Or
they're
licenses,
authorized, usually leases, but they're
Yes.
not the people who till the land aren't owning the land.
Correct.
Which provides long-term investment issues.
Correct.
Okay, appreciate you explaining that. Any questions from my colleagues? Mr. Arsh?
Did you ask me a question, Hudson?
I'm sorry. Sorry, there's more people that way.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Come on, chair of the meeting. Who's in charge?
No.
He's back. It's Councilwoman Hudson.
Yeah,
Hudson?
Thank you.
she was pushing this.
Yeah,
Getting this
through the
right here,
chair.
right here.
Thank
Isn't
you.
that true?
Yeah, I'm fortunate to have met Zainab during my campaign, and very grateful to have been able to be part of the initiative to revamp the Summer Sprout program and make it, more effective citywide. I'm also, very willing and looking forward to partner with you on pushing the sale of land for urban agriculture, because I think that's the next step. That's the next piece of the puzzle that we need to correct citywide, so that our community gardens can make the types of investments that we want to see, long-term investments, and that they're not under a threat, like in certain neighborhoods where development is, where the value of the land might exceed might threaten the leases that community gardens hold with the city. I think being able to purchase the land is crucial, and also I also can see that community gardens are essential for the types of vibrant neighborhoods that we want, the livable, walkable neighborhoods that everybody wants to see. And it's just as important to have community gardens as it is to have infill housing. So I think that's
Put
what's
those
been.
two on the same.
I do.
And why, Councilwoman? I'm not saying you're wrong, but I just want to understand more.
Because, Mr. Chair, we want to have neighborhoods that people want to stay in, that people don't want to, move away from. And community gardens bring people together. They're a place for people to meet. And also, we've seen in the last several months how precarious food access is in this country. And giving people more opportunities to grow their own food is something that is extremely important. And it's something that we did historically, but we've moved away from. And I think we need to get back into it. We're fortunate to have people like Zainab who are willing to, spearhead this, and she's very passionate about it. And so, that's something that we need to take advantage of. And, her passion for this subject, her knowledge and her experience. We can have one of the best community garden programs in the country. We were headed there, in the past by, 10 or 15 years ago when we took the step to allow backyard chickens and bees. And, I think it's time now to, take another step forward and become at the leading edge of urban agriculture in the country. And so I have a question, Zainab. You mentioned hydrant access. How are we with providing hydrant access to our community gardens? Is that process better than it was before? I know there's, historically been a lot of red tape that, gardeners have to jump through in order to get those hydrant keys.
Yes, through the chair. First, thank you for your advocacy and your passion. I really appreciate it. And for the hydrant process, still quite a bit of there's a lack of transparency around the process for sure. With the Summer Sprout Gardens, they do get hydrant access through the program. It's part of the services provided at the Garden Leader Kickoff, usually in the spring for the program. However, outside of the Summer Sprout program, for any urban farms or gardens looking to tap a hydrant for water access, the process is not written out anywhere. It can be very there's a lack of transparency around how to acquire a hydrant permit, and there is, from my experience within the water department, it can be conflated. Some urban farms and gardens are conflated with the Summer Sprout program, and so there's just a general lack of understanding about the urban agriculture landscape in Cleveland.
And through the chair, is there a fee for the hydrant permits?
There is a fee. There's the standard fee, which I am not sure what it is for this year, and then urban farms and gardens are charged for 2 MCFs of water, which is just an estimated use of water for the season.
Okay, thank you. And then another barrier that I've heard about, I think you and I have discussed, is the, speaking of red tape, the red tape that you have to jump through to have a community event, like a farmer's market. Can you discuss what somebody would have to go through in order to hold an event like a farmer's market?
Yes. Through the chair, to host a farmer's market in the city of Cleveland, you have to go through the special events process. The application very much reads like you are hosting a one-day music festival of sorts, for example. So it can be challenging for those hosting farmers markets to interact with the process and to fill out the application, given that it's very different than hosting a one-day event.
So to hold a farmer's market, you would go through the same process as, say, shutting down St. Clair Avenue and speaking with, you go into the room and you present a plan to each of the department heads and, go through all of the hoops associated with that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So for me, I see that as another opportunity for council to, change the policy around, there should be different processes. One for holding a large music event and a smaller one for holding smaller events like farmers markets or block parties.
I agree. Could you just write it up and then we look at the policy,
For sure.
Councilman Hudson, and you're a very good writer, and then we'll see. We don't want to create barriers.
That's right.
All right?
I will.
But
Thank
if you
you.
write it down, I'm not in that world. You write it down, and that'll help us out.
I will. Lakewood actually has a very good process. They hold a lot of block parties. So they have a pretty simple process for holding, these smaller types of community events that don't require, large police presence and shutting down major roads. So one for small events, one for larger events, two separate processes. But yes, Councilman, I'm happy to do that.
All right, that
Thank you.
helps us out. Were you finished? I
I'm
didn't wanna
finished. That's all.
interrupt you.
Thank you, Zainab. Nice to see you here today.
All right. So let me ask one more question before I yield to Chris Harsh, Councilmember Chris Harsh. I like with the gardens, and I know that, and this to the Councilwoman Hudson, what you were narrating is that it also helps the environment. And so if we can have vegetation in our life, urban life in the city, correlated together, that would help us out better with air quality. Is that correct?
It would, absolutely. Yes.
I mean, you're the expert. I'm listening to you and thinking. Okay, I was listening, and so we could do that. And if you knock the barriers down, because that's a lot of work just to do that. And it kind of it pushes you away. You say, I'm not doing all of that, but if we break down some of those barriers, then you'll get more.
Absolutely.
But short run, long run, gardening, and some of the lots in the short run, side lots, open space lots, gardening, okay? But in the long run, with me, see, I like to build things and put houses, do economic development. If you put a garden there in the short run, if I could put a house there, when you said it's just as important, if I could put a $15 million building there, put people to work, cut down on blight in the community. This cuts down on blight also. I think that benefits the community, but what Councilwoman Hudson said there, they're equal is being important. That's what you narrated. So just help me out with that a little bit. I'm not putting it down, but in my mind, I just think economic development majority of the time.
I see that quality of life is very important to our residents, and in order to achieve the type of quality of life that people want to have, they need to be able to get together with their neighbors. They might not have big enough yards to grow fruits and vegetables that they want to see. There's a house in my ward where it's a tiny little front yard, probably not much of a backyard at all, and the entire front yard was taken up with corn plants last year.
What plants?
Corn. So they were growing corn on every available, speck of yard that they had. And imagine what, neighbors could do if they had, more available space. And, there are community gardens that have significant wait lists. I know the one that's in Councilman Davis's ward. People want to garden there, but there's Kentucky Gardens. Thank you, Kentucky Gardens. But there's a wait list. 3-year wait list. I don't know what the wait list is for the Ben Franklin Garden in Councilman Harsh's ward. The largest community garden in the county for sure, perhaps in the state even. Thank you. These are the reasons why people want to live in neighborhoods. These are what make our Cleveland neighborhoods great, is having resources like community gardens. And it's also, like I said, it's a way for people to grow their own food, and there are workforce opportunities related to that as well.
Yeah, we could do that. And with children. We could, one thing about a garden, when I look at it, from my background in business as an MBA, if we gave $500,000 to Wild U, okay, so if you took some children to do a garden project, then they're learning project management. They're learning the implementation of the project, the roles and the responsibilities of the project. They're learning how to budget for equipment they might need, supplies, resources, how much money it's going to cost, and they'll learn how to monitor and control the garden as well as to close the project out when you harvest the garden, they could take that knowledge, not only dealing with the garden, they could take that knowledge with them when they go to work at different places, and they could use the project. It's a science, and they could do it straight through gardening. Straight through gardening, so we don't just look at gardening. I look at the project management, and then maybe we could have some children to do gardening next year. Then they know what holes and roles and responsibilities, who's going to do what certain plot of gardening and whatever the case may be. And when do we tilt the land and not just put seeds in the ground, but it's a plan. It's a project plan. I mean, I look at it, for me, that's just the way I look at it.
Absolutely. To the chair, there are urban farms and that work with YOU to bring young people to their farms during the summer season to learn everything that you were just mentioning, from project management to growing the food, to selling the food, to creating value-added products, all of that.
It's the application of the knowledge, and they could take that application with them to other projects and events, because then they know what role they have to play for raising the money, because it's transferable. And the main thing about knowledge is the application of the knowledge. And that's what I look at. So we could do that next year. I'll help. Well, you could champion it, Councilwoman. I'm all about rolling with the new, younger council members, and I'll stay in the background, and I'll look for what you're doing. I'll look at it. Councilmember Chris Harsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I just wanted to ask a question. It's sort of like a tale of two experiences. So on one end, you have the Ben Franklin Gardens, which is, as Councilwoman said, I think one of the largest community gardens in all of Cleveland, if not the state or whatever. They grow so much food. They donate hundreds of pounds every year to the food bank because they're just down there to have a good time, and sometimes they have more food than they actually need, so they end up donating it. But the garden itself becomes a cultural center. It's a mini concert venue. People hold events there. And there are other really successful community gardens throughout the city too, Ridall and Kentucky and a handful of them that we all know and celebrate and enjoy, and they are a major important aspect of community life in our neighborhoods. However, I did also have this experience when I was at Metro West for 7 years, between roughly like 2010, 2020-ish, that area. The city was saying yes to every single request for side yards and for community garden space for a while during the height of the foreclosure crisis, when we were demolishing houses by the thousands every year and we didn't know what to do with all this. The city just said, sure, you want a side yard, you can have a side yard. You want a community garden, you can have a community garden. And I was working in the Stockyards, Clark Fulton neighborhood while this was happening, and I was signing off and approving as the CDC rep, and everybody was approving. But essentially what we learned, Mr. Chair, was that sometimes people's eyes were bigger than their stomach, to stick with the food analogies. And people thought they could create a community garden, but they couldn't. And typically the experience was that this was a small group of people. So like 5 people would get together, a handful of neighbors, and say, hey, there's an empty lot on our street. How about if we get that and turn it into a community garden? And then, you know, the next year someone gets sick, and 2 years later somebody else moves, and before you know it, 2 people physically can't maintain the garden and it goes fallow. And I did a survey of all the gardens that we approved before I left, and 75% had gone to pot. They'd gone fallow, yeah, right? That's the right language, right? Fallow? Okay. Feral? I want to say feral. No, not feral. They'd gone wild. They were stopped. They were no longer maintained. And it, obviously, you know, this is not a huge problem. I mean, weeds grow anyway. But that's when everybody switched over to the lease program. Like, instead of like transferring this, we'll lease it to you for 5 years, and then if you can keep it up and in 5 years you want it again, cool, we'll renew the lease, everything's good. If you didn't do it and plans fell through, at least you don't own the land. Because if you were selling the land and it went to pot, then it could, you know, potentially become a problem if you wanted to do something later on with the land. So my only question through the chair, and my long way of getting to this, is what are we doing to make sure that community garden spots are being managed and run by large groups of people? Because 5 people can't handle it, but if you've got 50 people, then there can be some give and take. And if you've got Ben Franklin, you got 500 people, and you're just good to go for generations. What steps are we taking to make sure that any new land for gardening is managed by a large enough group that it won't just fall off if 1 or 2 people decide to move on?
Yes,
Through the chair.
through the chair. For community gardens, for example, through the Summer Sprout program, you need to apply with at least 5 non-related people. There is an opportunity to revisit that and take a look, depending on the size of the lot, for example, maybe adding more people to support the maintenance. With urban farming, and particularly with the policy with the land bank to sell land for urban agriculture, we're really looking at experience and passion for the work. We are looking to make sure that we're not selling outright, that there is some sort of trial period, that the person has been through some sort of urban agriculture training, whether that is with OSU Extension or Riddle or any of these other urban ag trainings that exist across the state. So we're really looking to make sure that folks are committed before there's a sale.
Okay. Yeah, and through the chair then, have you reached out to those established community gardens like the Kentuckys and the Ben Franklins to see if they have a way to help manage some of the extra land as well?
Through the chair, could you clarify the question?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
So if there is a group of people in Old Brooklyn that want to get a lot for community farm, perhaps check in with Ben Franklin to see if they could take it in as theirs and help manage it with those 5 people, because it was not the intention that was wrong. It was just, people's eyes are bigger than their stomach. They get a good idea, they get headstrong on it, and a couple years later they can't keep up. And it's just now you've got a problem. So that's what but if you have, I've got a spot in Old Brooklyn that Ben Franklin is going to manage remotely. So as soon as we get it, it's like 25 parcels or 25 lots or whatever, and they're going to manage it, and they're going to be able to keep an eye, and they'll use it for their overflow. But I know that it's in good hands because they've been managing their own for 50, 75 years or whatever it is. That's what I'm getting at. Talk to those other community garden spots to see if they have the capacity to help manage satellite locations.
There is definitely an opportunity through the chair to do that work. I would also say that when folks approach me looking for land to grow on for the first time, I definitely do direct them to a local garden, for example, to see if they have any extra beds that they're able to work on for the first time, to really see if they're interested in the work long term.
Okay. Mr. Chair, that's all I wanted to share, just some experience. Thank you.
Okay, great. Councilwoman, we were narrating earlier. Is there a way we could find out, like you mentioned, Benjamin Franklin and Kentucky and different, let's say CDCs who are doing farming, and then we could we'll take children to teach them the farming, because you have to cultivate young people. I'm not in that paradigm. I don't know what you know.
As far as CDCs, I'm not sure which ones, but I do know that Zainab, and then also there's an organization called FAIR, Food Access Raises Everyone, and that you all are in contact with all of the community gardens and in the city. And then you also created a map of the community gardens throughout the city.
Through the chair, I can't take credit for that map, but
Okay.
I can share that out. Yeah.
Okay, I think I shared the map during budget hearings. I'll share it again with you,
Yeah, let me see
so
it.
that you can see all of the community gardens across the city. Zainab shared it with me, and then I forwarded it so that you all, or maybe it was in your newsletter.
It was in my newsletter.
It was in your
yes.
newsletter?
You have
Okay.
a newsletter?
I do. Yes, a monthly newsletter talking about my work and food systems work happening across the country.
It's great. I shared that with you too during budget hearings, to be fair.
I don't get it,
Email?
You know what? At that time, when we gave $500,000 to YOU, I met with YOU. My focus was on getting the young kids in the city of Cleveland so they could take free art, music lessons for the summer. And what we did, when we gave them $500,000 to YOU, we took 1/5 of the money and we told Rainians to the music school settlement, Julio de Burgos to hire students, similar like what we're talking now. So the students are teaching other young children music lessons, and they're learning. So it's application of the knowledge. So my mind was focused on that program to make sure that it's successful. So we could do the same thing with the farms. The system is already there. We get money out next year. We get the kids so they can learn.
No,
And
that's
that's
great.
where I was at when you were giving that to me.
No, I understand, and I'm gonna. So, Zainab's newsletter is fantastic. So, I'll reshare it with you to make sure that you see it, because I think you'll really like it.
Well, let me ask one question, then I'll yield. This evening, and we mentioned your name to come with us, Rebecca, who's over the lead. We're going to dinner to discuss the lead issue. And we want to invite you also. And if you could come with us, we're going with the Winking Lizards, and then you could bring that in as well.
Okay, yeah, sounds
That
great.
help us out with that as well.
Okay, thank you.
We never stop working. We never stop working. So I want to see your newsletter and see that so we can move forward with it. And Councilman Shaw, you're up next.
Thank you. I'll be quick. Thank you for your time today. I was wondering if we could get a copy of that listening tour report.
Sure.
I actually don't think I've seen that. I would love to understand some of those takeaways and read more about them. And could you just explain briefly, right now, how long does it take if a group of neighbors wanted to get a plot of land? What does that timeline look like? Is it 6 months, 3 months, a year, year and a half?
Through the chair, the city's land bank is currently on pause, so there would be no option for a community organization or folks to go through the land bank at this time to go through that process. From what I've heard, it could take longer than a year for a response from the land bank.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I think that's too long. I think we have to simplify the process, like you've pointed out, and I look forward to understanding what the land bank's next steps are. I know we're going through some restructuring. Have there been conversations, and is CD open to kind of understanding, or I want to understand just where the status of that is?
Yeah, the folks at the city's land bank, including Trudy Andreski, has been very open to conversations and has been a great thought partner in thinking about a policy to support the sale of land for urban agriculture.
Okay. And I think you alluded to it earlier, having some restrictions on this, like the parcels that would still be in the conversation of like making sure that land is not. My concern is if there would be restrictions with it, right? That it would still be used for agricultural purposes. So we're not seeing in 5 years, 6 years, there's a group of transfer ownership, or as it's a revolving community ownership, that it gets sold to private developers or something like that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then I would also just want to plug, if council members haven't gotten a chance to go on the garden walk coming up in July, which will be a great way to see a lot of these community gardens in our different wards. It's definitely one of the, I want to say it's July 21st. I forget the date off the top of my head.
I think it's the 11th and 12th, or 12th and 13th,
Okay.
somewhere around there, mid-July.
Absolutely. And then one final thing, I do know Councilman Conwell, some CMSD schools actually have community gardens that are attached with their schools as well. So they do have students
Just mention that to me,
yeah.
Councilman Harsh.
It is a great way to have students, learn more about just how environment functions and how much they can take a part in their environment. So I just wanted to plug those things, but appreciate the work you do and looking forward to continuing the partnership. Thank you.
Thank you. Does that complete your presentation?
Yes, it does.
All right,
Thank you.
Any other questions? So Councilwoman Hudson, we'll get together, and that concludes the Health, Human Service, and the Arts Committee. We are adjourned.